first day of 2026 and I think I have to go back to Goodreads. This year I tried using just Kindle Unlimited and it did not go well. 80% of the books I was reading were already on that app, so I thought it would be a good option and just like sprinkle in the few physical books I was reading. However, I am not the type of person that will read the whole PDF, especially since all the social media tags and all of the newsletter links and bonus chapters to the next book are normally at the end. I found out that Kindle Unlimited does not count it as a read book if you do not get all the way through the PDF. So at the time, about halfway through the year, I was about 30 books in and it was telling me I was only reading like 14. It's like, ooh, that's not right. And it doesn't track the books you had already opened, or like all the books you had opened. So I had to go back and like think of everything I had read. And I was blowing through quite a few books a month while Kyle was gone last year. There were like 9 books in January I had read that it did not track. Chances of me remembering them, I struggle to remember books I've read. I'm not the type of reader that's going to remember the whole plot of something. But I will remember that, like, if you told me the characters, I'm gonna remember that it was a good book. I just won't remember the title or the author, to be real. Unless it's like a very popular book. So I am switching back to Goodreads this year. My reading goal for 2026 is 50 books. I will probably be finishing one very shortly because I had already gotten about 32% of it read on the plane back home from the holidays. 50 books feels ambitious, but I got 40 books read fairly quickly, or at least 35 books read fairly quickly last year, and then got busy. Kyle came back home after traveling a bunch, and I think I finished my last book before December, maybe like mid-November. So I feel like 50 books is doable. It's about 1 a week, give or take some of our busy weeks this year. We have a lot coming up. It's gonna be an interesting year with a move and just adapting to a new area, but I absolutely think it will be doable. That being said, I did read a lot of digital books last year. I'm way faster at reading when I have it on my phone, but that didn't stop me from buying a bunch of books. I discovered a new used bookstore, probably not that new to most Phoenix people, Bookman's, and bought a lot of books that I have not touched yet, but hey. So my physical TBR is bigger than I'd like before I move. I'm not the type of person that's gonna hang on to books as like trophies. So my plan is that once I read a book, I want to wrap it like a blind date with a book and then give it to someone I think will enjoy it. One book that I wrapped that I read last year is Final Girls, and I already have someone in mind for this book. So that is the plan with my physical TBR, is to read a book, wrap it, maybe add some like things to it to make it cute and more like a relaxing thing, and then give it to someone that I think will like it. But let's go through what's actually on my TBR. So I have quite a few books by Riley Sager. To be honest, guys, I'm not gonna say authors' names correctly. It's just not gonna happen. I already struggle reading out loud and pronouncing things, so reading to myself, it's honestly mispronouncing probably a lot. So I've got a few of his books that I need to read. I got this one back in like 2024. So got None of This Is True. I think I also got this back in 2024. I found GOODREADS finally at Bookman's. It was this was a book that my sister told me I absolutely have to read. I bought this year. Finally found it at a decent price at a used bookstore. With the whole not liking, like, I don't keep trophy books. I try to not pay full market price for them, just because I know I'm gonna end up giving them away, either to people or Goodwill, or like a bookstore, I guess. So not that authors don't deserve full price, it's just for me, I don't mind a used book, and honestly, I'm not gonna keep it, so it's one of those things. Another one I picked up this year was Stephen King. So Mr. Mercedes I just bought recently, and then I got another used book of his, if I can get it out. Misery. I grabbed Misery as well, and I've never read Stephen King, but I've heard if you've never read him, these two are pretty easy to get into, and they're not obnoxiously thick. Like, this one is about 427 pages, so that one I might read second, but Misery is only like 320, I believe. Close to 320. I'm probably gonna start with this one. This one is a pretty beaten up book, which, I mean, it's been read. It feels like it's been read quite a bit. I'm not 100% sure if it has been, but it gives that feeling of being read a bunch. $4 for my first Stephen King novel. So, a book I started and did not finish this year, 1984. It's a slow start. I'm on page 71, and I don't feel like we've gotten that far into the plot. It's like a lot of world, like setting up the settings, but that is a goal this year, is to like read this book. I feel like it's gonna have to be like, read part 1, pause, read another book, read part 2, pause, and read another book. Another book I haven't read, and I borrowed the whole series from my mom, Cinder. I started it, got about 105 pages in. This was also just one of those that felt slow to me, and I'm the kind of reader that if you don't jump into the plot within the first 100 pages, 75 pages, I'm gonna get distracted, I'm gonna not be interested. But I still I feel like I'm gonna like the story is the problem. And I have the other 4, I believe, that are in this series, but these will go back to my mom once I'm done with them. This book was gifted to me, and I don't know if I'm gonna be able to get it out. Lessons in Chemistry. I've heard it's a really good book. It's not exactly the type of book I normally read, so it's one of those where I'm gonna have to give it more time than I would normally a book. Normally if I read a book, I have it done within a week, but I feel like that one's gonna need more time. This one I got because of watching Virgin River. I really liked watching the Sweet Magnolia series on Netflix and then reading the first book and seeing like the differences. The book spans quite a bit of time, where the series kind of mixes all the books together. So I haven't picked up the second one of that series because there's 13 in it and it's kind of intimidating, but I did pick up the first book for Virgin River. Kyle and I really like watching that series, and I thought it'd be interesting to see the differences between the two. This was back when books still had like catalogs in them. Another used book that looks like it's been read a lot. $4. Here's a book I DNF'd this year. My Funny Demon Valentine. It's too spicy. And I don't know that I've ever said that about a book before. But I got, I think, 5 chapters in. We hadn't gotten far enough in the plot because they just kept doing it. So yeah, I can't. Like, you need some structure in it. I may, if it gets to a point where like there's actually more substance to the book, like to the plot, I would read it. But how long is that gonna take? But yeah, so I DNF'd to that one this year. May or may not pick it back up. Not really 100% sure. This is another book I picked up at the used bookstore. $10. Throttled. I've heard this series is good. This is about a Formula One legend who then falls in love with a post-grad. So this was a gift, and I'm actually really excited to read it because it looks so cute. Story of my life. Feels a little sarcastic, don't you think? And it also has sprayed edges. It's kind of really cute. This feels like summer though, and I'm very much a mood reader, so we'll see if I actually like hold off to read this during the summer. But all the chapter art is really cute, like the tools. And then I'm assuming a lot of authors like to do the 2 point of views and like add a little different icon that relates to the character. But she's got trouble written all over her. Don't we all? I'm really excited to read this. Just taking out the books I've already read. Like, I read this year, or last year, Akatar series. Kind of actually really liked it. I am ruining my TBR cart. It's gonna be a pain in the butt to get all these books back in there. These books I've actually been holding on to for a really long time and just haven't read them. Nora Roberts is a well-known romance author. I've had these books for over 10 years and just haven't read them yet. I told someone on my baton team forever ago that I really liked used books, and they gave me a metric ton of them. So this is just part of that gift, and it just hasn't made it into my reading cycle yet. This book I just picked up the other day, How to Sell a Haunted House. I liked the cover, And I think is it Grady Hendrix? All of their covers are very much in this like style. Black, dark cover with something in the middle. Which from a design perspective, I really like. So it itched something in my designer brain that I enjoyed. So I had accidentally bought the third book of this series when I went to the used bookstore for my birthday. I've seen this online and heard great things about it. So my sister saw that I bought it and got me the first two of the series. She says they don't, like, you could read them out of order and they don't exactly need to be like in sequence, but I'm gonna read them that way anyway, because why not? Like, why would you screw something up that way? Also, for my birthday, I had bought Fourth Wing. Now that she's getting closer to hopefully finishing the series. The next one doesn't come out until like what, 2027? Is that the last one? I don't know. But I found this one for $10.50. So I was like, okay, worth it to grab it and then start it when I have more time to actually finish a series. I just know that if I pick this up and read it, I'm gonna want to binge all of them, and I'd rather be closer to the release date of the fourth one. This book was also gifted to me, My Plain Jane. I've heard it's a TV show, maybe over in Britain, but I'm a big fan of reading something before watching it, because I feel like watching something is way easier for me. Reading something, though, takes a lot for me. I'm a slow reader, okay? And I can't help that. So if I'm gonna read something, it's gonna take me a few days, where if I watch something, it's gonna take me a few hours. So I'd rather read it first, because I know that's a bigger time commitment, and then watch it, because I'll still enjoy watching it. But yeah, I'll have to read this before I look into the show. Binding 13. I've just heard really good reviews about this series. Again, though, it's one of those things where I have to finish a series if I start it. Even if the series is like a 3-star series, I still have to finish it. I can't like move on to another book if it's not like, if I have not read all available books for that series. So I feel like this is on top of the Fourth Wing. It's also gonna be another time commitment, and I'm gonna have to find a used bookstore when we move for sure. So I started this book when we went on our Europe trip in 2024, The Paris Apartment. It's also just like a slow book, and I think that just might be mystery suspense books in general. But I got to page 106. I stopped at a chapter. I still remember this book. I just, by 100 pages, it just wasn't keeping my attention. It didn't help that we were traveling in Paris at the time. Like, it was cool to be reading this while in Paris. This is one of those books I want to actually finish. I probably won't jump into it for a bit, but I want to jump back into it, which I think also leads into another book I started either in 2023 or 2024, but I watched the movie. So this is what I'm saying. Like, I watched the movie of this book. I know technically what happens, and it was filmed in my college town while I was in my senior year. So I know a lot about the movie and a lot about the plot, and I'm just struggling to get into Gone Girl. I haven't removed the bookmark because I really want to jump back into it. I stopped at 112 pages. It's just these slow burns, the slow plots that I know they'll pick up. It's just getting into that setup that kind of deters me. Okay, and I picked up this one because I knew the movie was coming out this year, and I really want to do some like comparisons to the book and the movies. So Verity, and then she has another one coming out, I think sooner than Verity. Again, guys, I can't read out loud. Reminders of Him. I might pick that one up before the movie comes out in March. I think that is it. So that's what's on my physical TBR. I'd really like to get most of these read before we move so that I can give them to people. I have a whole nother bookshelf of like Nora Roberts books and other books that I've either already read, personal development books that I've read way back in like 5 years ago that I wanted to keep, or just books like this that I just haven't. These are ones you pick up and then find out you like after you've already started reading them. They're not like books you look at and you're like, ooh, that looks like an interesting read kind of thing. So I've got quite a few of those probably still back on that shelf that I just haven't looked through. they'll either get donated or given away before we move, or I'll read them, which then they'll still get given away or donated. But yeah, goal is to get through as many as I possibly can before we move. I don't think that's gonna happen, but worth a shot. Worth a shot. Another thing I've been considering this year is trying Fable. Let me know what you think of Fable in the comments, just so I can get an idea of what it's like. Is it better than Goodreads? I've heard the rating system's better than Goodreads. I've heard that it's more like a social media platform than it is a, like, Goodreads platform just looks like it hasn't been updated since 2012, maybe earlier. It's very outdated in my opinion and it needs a design branding update for sure. And Fable looks like it's more fun and colorful and more like a community thing and less like MySpace. But if it doesn't have the book library that Goodreads has, I don't know, maybe I'll play with it. I might play with it a little bit this year, we'll see. But let me know what you guys think. All right, bye. That might not be a good idea, buddy.